Welcome to Ancient Dilemma. This is episode 5, part 2, where we journey through time to explore the top 10 most unusual abandoned places in the world. Be sure to subscribe so you won't miss upcoming episodes. 5. Buzludzha Monument, Bulgaria. The communist UFO, perched high in Bulgaria's Balkan mountains, the Buzludzha Monument is one of the most surreal abandoned buildings on Earth. Shaped like a massive concrete flying saucer, this eerie structure has earned the nickname the Bulgarian UFO. But far from a sci-fi prop, Buzludzha was once a powerful symbol of communist pride. Built in 1981 to serve as the house of the Bulgarian Communist Party, it was constructed to commemorate the founding of Bulgarian socialism, which began with a secret gathering at this very peak in 1891. No expense was spared. The project took 6,000 workers over 5 years and cost the modern equivalent of tens of millions of dollars. Inside, the monument was a lavish showcase of socialist art and propaganda. Over 500 square meters of mosaics depicted Marx, Lenin, and Bulgarian leaders, while a giant red star topped the adjacent 70-meter tower. The central auditorium featured a glowing slogan, "Proletarians of all countries, unite," wrapped around the dome in red lights. But just 8 years later, communism collapsed and Buzludzha was abandoned. In the decades since, it's become a haunting shell of its former self. Wind whistles through shattered windows, snow and rain pour through the broken roof, and the once vibrant mosaics crumble into colorful dust. Icicles dangle from ceilings in winter, and graffiti now covers once revered walls, including the infamous phrase, "Forget your past," over the entrance. Although the site is officially off-limits, urban explorers continue to sneak in, capturing haunting images of the decaying amphitheater and the massive red star that still looms above. Outside, the view from the peak is stunning. Forests and rolling hills stretch out for miles. But it's the building itself that captures attention. A ghostly relic of ideology perched at 1,400 meters, looking like a starship left behind by history. Despite talk of restoration, its future remains uncertain. Some want to preserve it as a museum, others argue it should be left to collapse, and some even suggest demolition due to safety concerns. Until a decision is made, Buzludzha stands frozen in time. A brutalist monolith that once broadcast power, now whispering of ambition, decline, and the impermanence of political dreams. 4. Kolmanskop, Namibia, Diamond Desert Ghost Town. Deep in the Namib Desert lies one of the world's most surreal abandoned places. Kolmanskop. A century ago, this isolated town was one of the richest on Earth. Born overnight after a railway worker in 1908 discovered diamonds glinting in the sand. That chance find sparked a diamond rush in what was then German Southwest Africa, and Kolmanskop quickly became a glittering oasis amid the dunes. By the 1910s, the town was producing nearly 12% of the world's diamonds. Its German residents grew fabulously wealthy, and their newfound luxury was astonishing. They built lavish villas in European style, imported fine champagne, and installed a hospital, ballroom, casino, power station, and even the Southern Hemisphere's first X-ray machine, used not for medicine but to ensure miners weren't swallowing diamonds. Ice was delivered daily for refrigeration, caviar was prescribed as medicine, and mule-drawn trams served the town. But the prosperity didn't last. By the 1920s, the diamond deposits began to run dry. New discoveries elsewhere lured people away, and by 1956, Kolmanskop was completely abandoned. The desert, as if reclaiming what was once its own, began to invade. Today, sand dunes pour through windows, bury hallways, and pile up in former drawing rooms. Bathtubs sit awkwardly in sand-choked bathrooms, and sunlight streams through cracked ceilings onto rippled dunes inside old parlors. Buildings like the hospital, school, bakery, and grand ballroom still stand. But barely. The ballroom where high society once danced is now eerily silent, filled with drifting sand and faint traces of its opulent past. Outside, rusted rails and mining equipment dot the plains, half buried by time. Now part of a restricted diamond area, Kolmanskop is a magnet for photographers and travelers. Visitors explore its surreal, sand-filled ruins with a sense of wonder. Each structure feels like a ghost, frozen mid-story. Chalkboards still bear faint lessons, old wallpaper peels under desert heat, and remnants of a dream lie half-buried beneath shifting sands. Kolmanskop is more than a ghost town. It's a stunning reminder of how quickly fortune can fade, and how, in the end, nature always reclaims the land. A palace built on diamonds, swallowed by the desert winds. 3. Varosha, Cyprus, resort frozen in time. In the early 1970s, Varosha was the crown jewel of Cyprus, a sun-drenched Mediterranean resort that drew celebrities, billionaires, and tourists from around the world. With its golden beaches, luxury high-rises, upscale boutiques, and vibrant nightlife, it was often compared to the French Riviera. Stars like Elizabeth Taylor and Brigitte Bardot vacationed here, making it one of Europe's most glamorous destinations. Then, in 1974, everything changed. Following a coup and Turkey's military intervention on the island, Turkish forces advanced toward Famagusta. Varosha's 40,000 Greek Cypriot residents fled almost overnight, leaving meals on tables, laundry half-folded, and cars abandoned in the streets. The Turkish military fenced off the entire district, sealing it under armed control. From that moment on, time inside Varosha stopped. For the next 46 years, the once bustling resort decayed in silence. From outside the fences, visitors could see crumbling hotels, rusting 1970s cars, and shop windows frozen in time, complete with mannequins still dressed in bell-bottom fashion. Fig trees sprouted from rooftops, and sea turtles nested undisturbed on deserted beaches. Varosha became a surreal, sun-bleached ghost town, a city of luxury and leisure left to rot. In 2020, that silence was partially broken. Authorities in northern Cyprus began allowing limited public access to Varosha for the first time since the evacuation. Visitors now walk through designated areas, passing the skeletons of grand hotels like the Argo and King George, and wading into the same turquoise waters that once drew global elites. But much of the city remains off-limits, unstable and dangerous, with buildings on the verge of collapse. Varosha today feels like a time capsule of the 1970s. Wild oleander blooms beside shattered storefronts, vintage cars still sit in showrooms, and clothes hang in faded boutiques, untouched for decades. Some returnees have even glimpsed remnants of their old lives. A wedding dress still in a closet, yellowed but intact. Its future remains uncertain, caught in the political conflict between Cyprus's divided communities. But for now, Varosha stands as a haunting monument, a luxurious dream turned to dust, where echoes of music and laughter still seem to linger in the warm Mediterranean breeze. It's a place frozen in the moment of its abandonment, offering a chilling lesson in how quickly paradise can vanish. 2. Hashima Island, Japan. The ghost island battleship rising out of the East China Sea like a fortress is Hashima Island, better known as Gunkanjima, Battleship Island. Its concrete silhouette resembles a warship, but up close, it's a ghost city marooned in the waves. Just 16 acres in size, Hashima was once one of the most densely populated places on Earth. At its peak in 1959, over 5,200 residents lived shoulder to shoulder in a maze of 9-story apartment blocks, with schools, shops, a hospital, a Shinto shrine, even a cinema. Entire families lived atop a coal mine, which stretched beneath the seabed. The mine, operated by Mitsubishi since the late 1800s, was vital to Japan's industrial boom. But beneath this industrial success lies a darker history. During World War II, Hashima used forced labor. Hundreds of Korean and Chinese workers were brought in under inhumane conditions. Many died from accidents, starvation, or mistreatment. This grim chapter remains controversial, especially since it wasn't openly acknowledged when Hashima was later named a UNESCO World Heritage Site. After the war, the island returned to normal life, if a harsh one. The community developed its own slang and culture. Families celebrated festivals, children played on rooftops, and miners worked long hours below the ocean floor. Typhoons regularly pounded the island, but the seawalls held firm, part of daily life on this concrete rock. By the 1970s, coal demand collapsed as Japan turned to oil. Mitsubishi shut the mine in 1974. Within 3 months, everyone was gone. Hashima was left as it was. Personal belongings, toys, and appliances still in place. The buildings, once filled with voices and movement, began to crumble in silence. For decades, Hashima sat untouched, no longer a city, not yet a ruin. Salt, sun, and typhoons took their toll. Today, the skeletal buildings are fragile shells, walkways have collapsed, and stairwells lead to nowhere. The nickname Battleship Island stuck, its gray, brooding shape resembling a derelict war vessel at sea. Inspiration from Hashima even reached Hollywood. It helped shape the villain's lair in the James Bond film Skyfall. But fiction has nothing on the eerie reality. In recent years, Japan has opened Hashima to tourists on guided visits. You can walk select paths and observe the ruins, peering into a past frozen in concrete. Visitors hear both stories of everyday life and the island's wartime pain. Children learn to swim by leaping into the sea. Families shared tiny apartments, used communal baths, and grew gardens on the rooftops. But the shadows of forced labor remain part of the narrative, now more openly addressed. In 2015, Hashima received UNESCO recognition for its role in Japan's industrial rise, with an asterisk honoring those who suffered here. Hashima is more than abandoned buildings. It is a powerful symbol of human ambition, resilience, and exploitation, all packed onto one silent slab of rock in the sea. Looking at it from above, you see a concrete battleship anchored in time. Standing on its perimeter, with the rustling sea and broken windows as your backdrop, it's impossible not to feel the echoes of a forgotten city, one that tells a story of both triumph and tragedy. 1. Pripyat, Ukraine, nuclear city left in silence. At the top of our list is Pripyat, Ukraine, the world's most chilling abandoned city. Built in 1970 to house workers of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, it was once a vibrant Soviet metropolis of nearly 50,000 people. Known as Atomgrad, the atomic city, Pripyat had modern housing, schools, sports facilities, a riverside cafe, and even a brand new amusement park with a now iconic Ferris wheel. On April 26, 1986, that all changed. When reactor number 4 at Chernobyl exploded, it released a massive cloud of radiation. Authorities waited a full day to begin evacuation. Residents were told to pack light for a temporary departure. None ever returned. Pripyat became a time capsule. Toys still lie in playgrounds, meals were left on kitchen tables, and school desks remain covered in dust. The amusement park briefly opened on April 27th, just hours before evacuation, to distract frightened children. The Ferris wheel spun once, then stopped forever. Nature has since reclaimed the city. Trees push through sidewalks. Wildlife, including deer and wolves, now roam its streets. The city's once bustling Lenin Avenue is silent, lined with abandoned apartments still filled with personal belongings. School number 3 is littered with gas masks. The Palace of Culture's stage and basketball court lie warped and decaying. The yellow Ferris wheel, weathered by time, now stands as Pripyat's most haunting symbol. Joy, frozen in tragedy. Despite radiation, guided tours into the exclusion zone have become popular. Visitors describe Pripyat as eerie and powerful, a place truly frozen in 1986. The disaster killed 31 people instantly, but the long-term toll is immeasurable, with thousands affected by radiation and displacement. In 2022, Pripyat made headlines again during the Russian invasion of Ukraine, as occupying forces stirred fears of radioactive dust. Yet the ghost city remains, a stark reminder of nuclear power's promise and peril. More than just abandoned, Pripyat is suspended in time, a monument to catastrophe and the fragility of civilization. Utro, thank you for joining us on this journey to the world's most unusual abandoned places. We hope it sparked your imagination and sense of wonder. This concludes Episode 5 of Ancient Dilemma. Don't forget to subscribe for more explorations of history's enigmas and hidden worlds. Until next time, stay curious and remember that sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. Safe travels.